So I want to talk about single family zoning again. I want to talk more specifically about the views. I did see the comment on that video, and thank you so much for making that comment. I appreciate it. The comment, sorry, my dog. The comment was, you buy the lot, not the view. And while that is true legal in the legal sense, yes, you do. You buy the plot of land, you don't buy what is around it. Yes, that is correct. However, I did some research to back up what I had said, and I found an article on NerdWallet. It was written by Marilyn Lewis, and it was an article about home values with the view. It's called Love That Home's View, See How Much More You'll Pay, is the name of the article, and it used Seattle as a reference. And so I'm sitting up here by my window with the view so I can show you. So this article was about how much more you would pay for a house based on the view that it had. So a house with a flat ground, unobstructed view of a park or an open space, you would get more views like that, like in Rainier Beach and Othello, Beacon Hill, that kind of area. It's pretty much the only flat space in Seattle. It's just a joke. There's just so many hills here. But so that, having an unobstructed view of like a park there, trying to think of like that path, that bike path that goes along that also has the power lines, and it's nice and green. It's just a cute little field. That would increase your home's value 5 to 10% in price, in selling price. So then a house on a hill with a partially obstructed view of the waterfront, but you have rooftops in the way. This is what I have. Okay. So we are basically halfway up the hill, and well, 3/4 of the way up the hill. And here's my view, and it's obstructed by my neighbor's house, which is fine. A big tree, another rooftop, more neighbors' houses, but I can see the inner bay and the port, and I can see from my deck when it was there. I could see the Space Needle and all the lights downtown. It was beautiful. I love seeing it at night. So this house, how it is, just with the view, would increase 10 to 30% in price. A house just like this, but take out all of the things obstructing the view, and the value of the property would raise 50 to 75%, just for the view. And if you had an unobstructed view of the lake or ocean, say, a house on the other side of Magnolia where you can see out on the Sound, you can see across to the islands, their unobstructed views of that area can raise their property value 75 to 100%. So yes, you don't buy the view, you buy the lot, but the view does have a tremendous impact on homeowners. And especially here, Seattle, you're in the middle of a city and you want to see the city. That's the whole point, right? So you do buy the view. You do. And so unless you're renting. But even when you're renting, as a renter, when I rent in a townhouse, well, I was in Redmond, Oregon. It's middle of nowhere, so there was no view to be had. Otherwise, I probably would have tried to get a better view. But here, with the high rises and everything, the whole point of being in an apartment downtown is, one, convenience, but two, you can see everything. I have a friend that lived in the Wave down by the stadium, and his view was phenomenal. So we need to work together. My point of this is we need to work together homeowners and condo builders, and apartment complex owners and builders, we need to work together to not obstruct each other's views not because, oh, I just like to have my coffee and look at the pretty views. It's so nice in the morning. That's less important than lowering the property values of homes in the area just because we need more housing. Buying a house is an investment. And if you buy a house, you pay full price, you pay above asking price, and you have the intent of fixing it, making it better, living in it for 10 years and selling it. But in those 10 years, 5 apartment complexes go up in your neighborhood and you don't have what you had in the beginning through no fault of your own, because there was no zoning that permitted it. But now there is, all of a sudden, because the city council decided we need to build more affordable homes, and so we're going to just put them everywhere. Apartment complexes everywhere. So now your home value just dropped a huge amount. We need to not do that to each other. There is no reason to be cutthroat about things. And we really can work together. Let me show you again here, out on Queen Anne. So my concept is like, there's already a whole bunch of apartment complexes right here, like right over here. And then these houses behind them that were there already, they lost a whole lot of money. I mean, not real money, but they lost a whole lot of investment possibilities from other people willing to buy the house because they lost that view. Now they're looking into the back of someone's apartment rather than the view over this little interbay area. Into like that guy on Friends, where they're looking across and he's always naked and they're always spying on him. Like, that's what it would turn into. And you're not, when you buy a home, that's not what you want to buy. You buy a home for security and just a feeling of wholesomeness, right? And so you don't really get that when there's a giant apartment complex right next door. And I'm not saying that I'm anti-apartment. I prefer homes, single-family homes, just because I have a family. It's practical for me. If I didn't have kids and a partner, then I would be 100% happy to live in a studio apartment in the middle of downtown with no view. I would be happy with that. But that's not where my life is taking me. And so I want my kids to have that wholesomeness that comes along with living in a safe, quaint neighborhood. And that's what we have now. And I don't want to lose that. And I'm not saying apartment complexes will make that, will detract from that. I'm just saying, let's be smart about it and respectful about it towards everyone. There is a lot of hate towards homeowners, especially in the areas that I'm talking about, Queen Anne and Magnolia, because that's, there's richer people in the neighborhood, right? More affluent. And so there's a lot of hate towards those people right now because they're in the top 1%, and I'm not. But I still live in that neighborhood, and I'm grateful to be in that neighborhood. And we need to make it more accessible to everyone. But that's the thing that I'm having a hard time with, is it already exists. Like I just showed you all those apartment complexes, right? I know this is me going off on a tangent, and I apologize, but look at all these apartment complexes down here. And then all of those apartment complexes. Very few of those are actual single-family homes. Most of them are apartments. And so I think in the future, from this point on, if we take like this top ridge, right? So I'm trying to get my finger in there. Take this top ridge and turn that all into apartment complexes as people sell their houses and move on to whatever they're moving on to. As that happens, we turn that into apartment complexes. That whole ridge would not look bad. I mean, we would have to, there would still be consequences, right? There's still externalities. There's always going to be. So, like, the towers on the top that are for the airplanes, for the airport, we're going to have to adjust those and possibly affect the airport and how they land the planes, because we're going to have higher buildings, and so they're going to have more of a chance to scrape the bottom of the plane, right? And so we need to avoid that. So there's that to consider. There's also, I don't know what the laws are on the airspace around the Space Needle. It created Seattle. Before the Space Needle was here, this was a really small town, and the Space Needle was built for the World's Fair. And ever since then, this has been a desirable place to be. And I'm one of those people that fell for it. I love this area. And so, trying to kind of tie my thoughts together. With the Space Needle, I don't know how much of those buildings around it are restricted in how high they can go. I think we need to adjust that, but at the same time, do something to keep the Space Needle intact. I'm not saying get rid of the Space Needle or tear it apart or anything, but we need to find a way to celebrate the Space Needle, but build more houses around it. And then something else I was also thinking about is, I did a forum a couple weeks ago, like a week and a half ago, for the central area. And I have not been able to find yet a definition for what affordable housing is. I mean, I know what it is, right? Something you can afford, but what is that magic number we're looking for? What constitutes an affordable house or housing situation according to the city, according to the HALA and the MHA, right? Is it MHA? According to them, what is that number? And how did they get to it? Because I can pretty much guarantee it's probably more than I could afford. I think we need to really adjust the number of what affordable means. Seattle is very affluent. The people that live here, they work for Amazon and they work for Google and Microsoft, and these employees, they make really good money, and the Boeing, and I mean, there's so many people, so many big corporations here, and they're leaving, and because we're taxing them out, and when they go, all those employees are going to be gone too, and we're left with, the people that aren't making that good money, and we're still having to afford these really expensive places. We need to do something more to reduce the cost of living. I think that's really where we need to focus, that and building, more apartments. Like I've said before, I think a percentage would be good. As you could see on Queen Anne, there are already apartment complexes there. And like I said before, I think it's really close to Seattle Pacific University. So having that available, for student housing and for low income, whatever, I would not think twice. If I looked over there and I saw low income housing, I would not think, oh, that's where the poor people live, and that's what I think a lot of this comes down to, is people are trying to get rid of those preconceptions and the prejudgments, like, we want to build low-income housing, and every building that is built now will include a couple of apartments, or a percentage of these apartments will be for low income. And I feel like that's to get rid of the stigma that comes along with being low income, and that being poor means you're not a good person. And so I think That's really what is at the heart of it. And I think there are other ways to tackle that. And I think we need to stop abusing people that are better off. They had to work to get there. They went to college. They did their part, you know. So my thoughts are all sorts of scattered, and I apologize for that. But it's not, none of these issues are one single thing that is the issue, and so it's hard to just stay on one topic because there are so many working parts to it. But we can't, the point of the video, we can't just take away people's view, whether they paid for it or not. We need to be adding structures in a way that is inclusive and unobstructive and respectful. So that is the point of the video, and I'm sorry for going off on my many tangents, which I always do. And I apologize for that. So anyways, I've already made this video like 6 times, so I'm sorry for rambling. I will post it how it is, and I will just cringe at this part, I guess. So yeah, that's basically all I wanted to talk about with that. If you have anything you want to say, I will put my email in the comments. I'll put my phone number in the comments. You can text me. I would prefer a text. Phone calls are harder for me, just because my life is so busy. It's easier for me to be able to come back to it. So send me a text, send me an email, comment on the video, like it, dislike it. Let me know what you think. If I don't know, I can't do anything about it. And if you think I understand the concepts, or if you think that I am just completely off base and ignorant about it all, please tell me. I want to know. I want to fix the problems with Seattle and myself. So please comment.